And at first I rejected the notion, but when I thought more about it, I thought that there's actually two sets of tricks that I think I employ. One, you might think of my whole art cart, which is full of 2 and 3D media. Usually it's simple, spontaneous media, oil pastels, markers, scrapbooking paper, magazine pictures, and model magic, and 3D media. But then I also thought it's all the years of experience that I've had that have given me an amazing vocabulary of options.
My bag of tricks as an art therapist, a lot of it can be about helping people get in the body. So actually this isn't an art therapy technique, but it is an object that changes as the person interacts with it. I use this a lot in the beginning with people who have anxiety, just kind of squishing the ball and seeing how it changes and feeling their breath in their bodies, and then they actually get to choose if they want this one, or if they want this one, which is totally different, it has this really different experience. And then my secret bag of trick is that when they pick one, I take the other, and as they're talking about their anxiety and squeezing it, I'm squeezing the other one. So it's really a trick for me too, to help get some of the anxiety that they're talking about out of my body. So that's a really fun trick.
So this is an example to me of how art is a form of social action. This was a project, this is one of the projects that I did with a group of teenagers called Inside Out. And it was a 12-week project where I worked with teenagers around their identity. Who are you on the outside versus who you really are on the inside. So how you're perceived, how you think other people see you, what you show to the world, and then your inside. And I worked with these kids around this question of who am I, identity, over 12 weeks. We also had 10 artists from the community that we invited into the project, as well as 10 people from the community at large, the mayor, radio personalities, business owners. So in total there were about 30-some people all doing this project together. She's got her journal pasted. I really talked to them a lot about, go collect images that mean something to you, that you identify with, and use them to communicate who you are. And so here we had 30-some people, teenagers to CEOs of major companies, all doing the same identity project, and then displaying them all together at this beautiful gathering. These kids were, once in a lifetime opportunity for them, but 400 people looked at these and were influenced by them in some way, and you would hear people saying, wow, I never thought of that, I want to go home and do something like that. So the art got seen, it was influencing people, but I always felt like this should be on Oprah. Yeah, I bought hers.
And then there's this wonderful toy that's called a doodle sketch, and it's kind of like what's the red ones? Etch-a-Sketch.
Etch-a-Sketch.
But it's not with the knobs. It has a magnetized pen, and it erases it. The kids love it. One of the things that I love to do, being a sculptor, is I have samples of paper mache, and then as a result of that they will want to try their own thing. And this is from a client who has very specifically, whenever he or that client comes in, asks, so did anybody see my artwork? Did you show it? What did they say?
My personal passion has always been clay. For me, there's something that's so centering about centering myself as a metaphor when I center on the wheel. And it sounds cliche, but it's really quite profound for me. Clay, like life, it's unpredictable.
When I think about it, I think that having a huge capacity for empathy is really, really important in this work to mitigate burnout and to be able to help another person. And then I think, well, what helps with empathy? And for me, the practice of response art, the practice of making art in the service of empathy for a client feels like if there were one big thing to put in the bag of tricks, it would be that, the practice of response art.
Members of the Evergreen Art Therapy Association meet to discuss art therapy and make art. Today they are talking about pastry therapy.
This is making me think of those the sand mandalas. I think it's because the colors, because those Buddhist mandalas have these really intense colors in them, right? The turquoise and those deep, deep pinks.
So
and
instead
deep
of
yellows.
blowing it away, we have to eat it all.
It's going to disappear either way.
Or we could take it down and dump it into the sound, which they do. They dump it. You said you did what?
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Super stretch arms, because remember Rubber Man? Could,
Yes.
You know, because I'm constantly just, everything's just out of reach. So I put that in flight, and I always intentionally leave the glasses off. And this time I thought I really needed great hair, because I've been not liking my hair. That was an important part of it.
Hi, Coquille.
Hi.
What are you doing for your art project?
I'm going to make a card, and then I'm also going to make a type of magnet. And I'm attracted to these papers right now.
My name is Judy.
Judy, hi Judy.
Hi.
What are you making today?
Something about rejuvenation.
My first day, I got a Yule log on the Advent calendar, so it's inspired.
Is it a magnet then? Yes, right.
Yeah,
You just
that's a
showed us how it
magnet.
worked. Okay.
I found some papers that kind of inspired me in terms of, I always think of sunrises and sunsets and kind of the start of a new day, and just kind of putting energy towards someone that needs some, renewal, and making a card for Bob, and wanted to put a little something about the importance of his pioneering in our field.
So the phrase is art saves lives. I really believe that. I believe that in my own life. I think if I wasn't able to be creative, I'd be a really miserable person. I feel so thankful and so blessed that pretty much every day my life is about creative expression. I remember in 10th grade that I would tell people that I wanted to get paid to doodle all day. And I realized that actually I've gotten away with that. So some of the earliest art that exists is people putting their hands on cave walls and blowing soot over them, and they take their hand back and there was the outline of their hand. And I think that as humans, we've always been creating, always been sculpting, always been writing poetry, always been making theater. I think it's just who we are as humans. It's how we connect, it's how we tell our story, it's how we tell old stories. And it makes people feel better to do that process.